So guys, I have a little bit of a secret. I love FCA products, and while I don't own any of them, I love what SRT is doing, and I kind of love what Jeep is doing. And even though the Gladiator to a lot of people is ugly and disproportionate, I think with the Mojave, it's basically like a Raptor Desert Runner Baja car. It changes the game. So we've got some dirt roads up here we're gonna go play on. I got my friend with the last generation Wrangler, and we're gonna go have some fun. And just to prove that this is some country ass country, that's a dead porcupine. Okie doke, let's get rolling. This truck is probably overkill for these roads, but the thing is, even though this is overkill for these roads, I can go incredibly fast on them. So let me get these windows up. It's kind of a weird window mechanism. Because remember, this is like a Baja car. It's so long that it has a hard time doing the rock crawling thing. And that's why I think a lot of people don't like the Gladiator. But you're able to go and just hammer down. I mean, we could easily add another 20 miles an hour, but I'm nice and comfortable. I've got my Polar Seltzer. I've got a bunch of cameras in the car. This is a lot of fun. And on the road, when we get out to the road, like actual highways and paved roads, you'll see how much fun it is. It's so much easier to drive than the last generation. I never was a Wrangler fan because Wranglers wander on the road. You get them up to 80 miles an hour. You feel like you have to floor it in fifth gear just to keep it there. This 8-speed automatic it's very quick to shift. And even the adaptive cruise control, yes, you heard me right. This Gladiator has adaptive cruise control. Seems to know exactly how to apply the right amount of throttle to get you back to speed once you've passed a car. You could 100% drive this every day, everywhere. I wonder, oh no, we can't go down there. There's a gate closed. Let's hit a puddle. It's not a Raptor. Let's make no mistake. This is not a Raptor. And at, $61,000, yikes. That's a lot of money for a Jeep, guys. But what you can't do in a Raptor is take off these roof panels. Actually, you can take off the doors. You can fold down this windshield. You can take off the whole cab. That's a fun thing to do. Can't do that in a Raptor. And obviously, you can option this down. I believe the Mojave starts around $43,000. So that is maybe how you'd want to go about it, because I certainly don't think I could stomach 61 grand for something that I'm going to go toss around in the rocks, in the dirt, because that's exactly what I want to do with it. I want to thrash it. I don't want to be like, oh no, it's my $60,000 baby. Let's go this way, see what this is. So what I didn't tell you was this is an old prison camp, and what we're approaching now is that prison camp. So from what I'm told in the 17, wow, this really adds insult to injury that I'm like,
what's that, a crack den?
Not a crack den. This is actually a prison camp. So to add insult to injury, this thing is here. Oh my God. All right, I'm out here bragging about how I have this ridiculous lifted Jeep. Meanwhile, so this prison camp out here was used in the early 1900s. I was actually told it started as a prison camp in the 1700s for Revolutionary War criminals. And then later on...
Can you hold it there for a second? I'm going to take a picture from my car.
Absolutely. But then in the early 1900s, it was used as a prison camp in Massachusetts because this rural location allowed it to have like nice, clean, open air for, this sounds terrible, for like prisoner work. And they, I guess, were less susceptible to getting typhoid. My biggest fear driving down these types of roads is like you go into something like this and then you never get out because someone comes along and chains up and locks those gates. That would not be a fun feeling. I gotta say too, there's probably less rattles in this thing than in like the sports cars I'm driving. We're on these ridiculous dirt roads. They're not that ridiculous. Pretty much anything can drive down here. You get like an STI. This is like a rally stage. I gotta say, even though I'm polluting, I feel one with nature. How have I... See?
Hey, just so you know, this will eventually become a dead end, but it's not as quick as the other one.
You know, I keep thinking, how have I never been out here? Well, the reason I've never been out here is because I've never had an off-road vehicle. So now I'm like, I kind of want a truck or something that I can go explore in the woods with, because this is a lot of fun. I love hiking. Hiking's great, but I can cover a lot more ground in a Jeep. My instinct is still to slow down for those rocks. I need to get over it. We're way off the ground. Nothing is going to puncture an oil pan or a diff. Not on these roads.
You want to do a power slide out of that corner?
I don't know if I can. It doesn't.
I can, for sure.
A muddy Jeep is a happy Jeep, and I feel like this is your badge of honor. You get to have a dirty Jeep. I'm going to clean it up because I definitely need to make it look nicer for the on-road drive. But man, this thing looks good with mud caked on it. Look at that. This is great. All right, let's get back to the point. FCA builds the best cars that I'll never buy. Let's get out to the road. I'll explain this. It's actually kind of nice when it's dark out or like cloudy. You can see the reflection of the reverse camera in that rear glass. So not only am I looking out the back, I'm also seeing the camera. It's a really nice camera, by the way. I had the Audi S8 Plus the other day. That camera was kind of trash. So good on FCA. They tend to put like nice things. Also, you get this package. We'll talk about price too. Do that front view camera. So obviously better for off-roading. Good stuff. Let's get on the road. Pardon the bird poop. If you were looking to buy a two-door fast sports car and you were interested in like a Challenger or a Camaro, the Camaro is kind of objectively the clear winner. The SS1LE is technically superior to a Challenger Scat Pack. But if you were to say which is more fun to drive, I actually really love Scat Packs. There's a lot of goofiness to them. They're slightly cheaper in the way they're made. They're not as advanced in their suspension technology. However, they are so enjoyable to drive. Sorry, I was thinking about going down that way. We're gonna go that way. And this is this weird thing where with FCA products, if you were to give them to me for like a week or something, wow, that cop is just hidden in there. That is classy stuff. If you were to give me a Challenger Hellcat or a Scat Pack, or oh man, I really love the Charger wide body. That's a pretty sick car. I would enjoy that so much more driving every day because it makes you laugh. It's like you feel special in it. And the Camaro, while on a racetrack and in almost every other category, makes more sense on paper. I think FCA makes a more fun product. And that special feeling is exactly what makes this Gladiator Mojave so awesome. So let me compare it against a Raptor, because I think for the money, I mean, this one is $61,000. We can easily knock 10 grand off that price. We don't need all these options. In fact, even though this 8-speed ZF Auto is really nice, we don't need that. We can get a manual and we can save $2,000 like that. And there's a Ram. Should be noted that this truck is kind of like a half Wrangler, half Ram. It's a hybrid. So the front end is all Wrangler. The rear is kind of like this Dodge Ram pickup truck thing. So the rear end is actually less advanced than the front end. But the thing that makes FCA products so special and enjoyable and put a smile on your face is transferred directly into the Mojave. So I've never really been a Wrangler fan. Wranglers, they're boring, they're slow. I feel like on the highway, if you're going 80, you're pretty much pinned to the floor. They always feel a little underpowered. The steering has always been a little scary. You can't believe these vehicles are what's being sold in the modern era. This changed that for me. And the fact that that Jeep is able to make this live front axle handle the way it does blows my mind. It drives like a truck. Make no mistake. It doesn't drive like a sports car. But at 80 miles an hour on the highway, it doesn't wander. In fact, even the Ford Raptor, I feel like I'm having to put in a little extra steering input to keep it in a lane. And the lane assist on the Ford Raptor, I thought was silly at first until I actually spent time with a second gen Raptor on the highway, and I found myself actually like getting the little vibrations, like, oh shoot, I need to move over. Now this isn't a direct competitor to the Raptor, even though it has this incredible suspension, which makes its on-road performance really nice. To be honest with you, I know it looks overkill. It really does, but as a daily driver, this is so perfect because roads in America are kind of garbage. What better option than to beef up your suspension and absorb everything? You could jump a set of railroad tracks with this thing. And Jeep has reinforced this chassis, so you could jump it. I'm not going to jump it. You could jump it, and unlike the first gen Raptors, it probably won't flex. You're not going to break this truck. And I'll be honest, the Jeep Wave, it gets old, but I'll do it. I like the community. It's nice. It's cute. I mentioned this earlier, I very much dislike these window switches because they're not designed to be vertical. Like, these are clearly designed to be horizontal, flat on a door. And so, like, when you push them and pull them, it's like a very awkward motion. Not to mention that this is the same window switch that was on the PT Cruiser. And I only remember this because I was just watching The Office and Jim was in a PT Cruiser convertible and I noticed that. They did clever things with the suspension too, aside from just having these monster remote reservoirs. They've got hydraulic bump stops, so when you do crazy stuff and you're driving highway speeds on unpaved roads, you can actually bottom out the suspension and not worry about destroying this thing. Like, I can't believe how good this thing handles on road with these tires. And it's not scary. The steering ratio is fantastic. Like, I'm not over inputting. Everything makes sense. I genuinely can't believe how good this is to drive. And the brakes are fine too. So we've got no one behind us. We're doing about 50 miles an hour. Let's just dive into the brakes. That's fun. You have so much suspension travel. The way this dives is hilarious, but it's not scary. I think that because Wranglers tend to be shorter and they don't have that kind of suspension, they're a lot more frightening under braking. They're a lot more frightening at higher speeds. This is going to be stable and planted. And then, of course, railroad tracks. You can pretty much hit railroad tracks at highway speeds in this thing because of the suspension, and it just doesn't matter. If I did that in my 911, I would be making an insurance claim right now. Could not do that. Shifts so smoothly. Man, who knew? Well, I guess we're in phase 3, eh? So this road right here is where I typically bring every car to be like, hey, does it make any creaks and squeaks? I mean, maybe this does, but maybe you need to be jumping it at 70 miles an hour to get a squeak out of this thing. If I hit this in that E36 M3 last week, I think we'd have lost some teeth. I could absolutely not hit this at speed in any sports car. I always slow down for that. Just jump on the highway. So there's road noise. It's not outrageous, but it's there. I mean, what do you want? This thing has convertible top, but I am very comfortable driving this for long distances. And I've put a couple 100 miles on it already, most of which was highway miles getting out to dirt trails. And it has really nice road manners on the highway, and not just for a Jeep. Wranglers in the past were nightmares on the highway. I did not like driving them, especially when people put on big, knobby off-road tires. They start to get that death wobble. It actually is frightening. And you also feel like they're going to tip over. You're not going to be able to do a quick lane change, anything like that. Whereas this is a nice long wheelbase. It's very comfortable at speed. It does, 80 miles an hour very safely, very happily. And there's no concerns about the steering. Like, it doesn't wander. Is it a truck? Yes. It's not a sports car, but I'm not thinking about it. And for me, that's a big compliment because I don't usually drive trucks. So if I'm comfortable with the steering in this, so should anyone who's driven pickup trucks for most of their life. This is why I love FCA. If you told me that they were going to make this with an 800 horsepower motor, I wouldn't think twice. I'd be like, of course they're going to do that. It's FCA. They're going to send this off to SRT. They're going to give it some ridiculous Hellcat or Demon engine. And yeah, that's exactly what they would do. And that's why I like FCA, because I never know what they're going to do next. So sure, FCA makes a lot of questionable products that you wouldn't give a second chance. But I'm glad that this showed up on my door, because had I not been given this truck to drive for the week, I probably never would have experienced it. And if you've already written off the Gladiator or the Wrangler or any of these things that you just think, I know I hate them, it might be worth giving them a second chance. Because I'll tell you what, when you put big beefy remote reservoirs on a truck and hydraulic bump stops, it makes it a hell of a lot more fun on garbage American roads. So with that being said, keep an open mind, drive things that make you want to smile, and don't forget to respect the drive. Ooh, that is a satisfying click.